Hey, it's Tim. Welcome to Rust Revival Garage. Today is the day. We are finally going to try to start the 68 LeMans. This is part 5, I think. If you can check out the other parts below, 1 through 4 in the description. Link to part 1 up above. But yeah, it's the first time this car is going to be started in 23 years. This is my first will it start ever. I'm sure we're going to have some issues, but I got to try it. I got to see what happens, and I'm kind of excited, kind of nervous. Anyway, got a few things I need to wrap up first. Need to get a fuel filter in there, get some fuel in it. Need to get tires or wheels on it. I need to do a couple things. So let's get started with that fuel filter. Alright, so do I have enough room? Got a little more room to work under here now that I've jacked it up. Alright, so I just need to cut this. Got a clamp up there. Alright, got my filter installed. Just need to tighten down these clamps. Got the funnel in there. It just seems like it's going to spill out, but not much choice. Just got to do a little bit at a time. There we go. Just gonna take it a while. So I'm gonna get her all fueled up. Hopefully there are no leaks. And we've got about 3 gallons of gas in there, and we are almost ready. As you can see, last time I had this tagged was in 2000, and it's 2023. So we're getting close to the first startup in a long time. Done some updates since the last video. I'm not sure if you saw part 3 where I put in the radiator, fan clutch, and the alternator, excuse me, and then the 2 belts. One of the problems that I was having was that the belts were not fitting correctly, and I realized I had them swapped. So basically I had the alternator belt on the power steering, and that was too tight, and the alternator just didn't have any kind of give to it at all. So I went back in, switched out both of the belts, and now I've got good tension on the alternator, good tension on the power steering. Got the PCV system hooked up. I got the throttle return spring on, and I've got fuel in the tank. We are pretty much just about ready to go. I just need to drop the new battery in. Got our top poster good to go. Basically the 24 is the group size for this engine. This car is 68 LeMans. We've got the top posts, which is what I had in there before, and this is the final piece of the puzzle. I almost forgot. Need to add the coolant. Thank you. I'm going to start with some distilled water just to see if I've got any initial leaks. Then I will add the coolant, which costs a lot more than the distilled water. Okay, so far so good. It's just a half a bottle, but I wanted to get it started just to see if there was anything that I missed. Let's get a little more in. After this, I'll just add coolant. There we go. And that's pretty much everything on my list. And she's back on her wheels for the first time in a long time, and she's rolling. I better put it in gear. Alright, today is the day. I know a lot of guys on car shows, they do the will it starts all the time. It's not a big deal to them. For me, it's a big deal. This is my baby, and I'm going to be trying to start it for the first time since 2000. And I'm sure there's going to be some issues, but it's still just, you know, the stomach is churning, the butterflies are going, because this is my first will it start. Never done it before. Got everything done that I think needs to be done. I checked off everything, and yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Got a friend coming over. It's a neighbor. He's actually I call him kind of a car guy because he's putting an LS in a 68 Nova. So it doesn't quite count, but it's close enough. But he's going to come over and help me, mostly because I want him to do the smell test. I actually have no sense of smell. Had a massive concussion 30 years ago, knocked out my olfactory nerve, and I can't smell or taste. And so I don't even have memories of it anymore. So I'm going to have him come over, and when I plug in the battery, I want him to basically sniff around, make sure there's nothing burning, make sure there's no wires causing issues. I don't want any fires, because by the time I might detect it, it might be too late. I do have a fire extinguisher somewhere. Yeah. It's only 30 years old. We'll just ignore that. Should be fine. But just in case, I've got something. Probably get some buckets of water ready to go too, just in case. But all right, it's almost time. Got all the wheels on. These are surprisingly holding air for the first time since it was parked, and the back ones were shredded, so I replaced those with a couple of spares that I had sitting around. And I want to roll it outside because I have a feeling this thing is going to smoke a lot. And I don't want all the smoke just filling up the garage, and got a fan going, but it wouldn't be enough. So I may see if we can roll it out, and first I want to test to make sure there's no problems before we roll it out when we put the battery in. But yeah, I'm rambling because, like I said, I'm nervous. Holy cow, you brought the baby?
Yeah, I did. I brought two very important things.
Fire extinguisher and the baby.
Yeah, exactly. Two things that mix really well. A fire extinguisher and a baby.
There you go.
Now you can say no babies were harmed in the making of this film.
Well, it's not over yet.
Yeah, true.
And the negative. That does not look great. I heard something.
Yeah, I did too, but I think you're good.
All right, that is tight. Do we see any smoke?
Nope. Coil looks good. Yep. If something were to,
Yeah, I did hear something.
yeah,
It
I
sounded
did
like
too.
from back here.
By the alternator.
Now,
But we can also always look for a fuse.
just to let you know, this is kind of tricky, and I don't know if it's on or off.
Mm-hmm.
This had a kill switch.
Oh, it did.
So basically, it's, if you come back here, they had it installed. I don't know who did it, but they had it installed here.
Mm-hmm.
So I've switched it. I think I switched it off or, you know, to make sure the kill switch was engaged,
Yeah.
because I wanted to, just in case somebody tried to take it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that probably just hooks up to your coil.
yes,
Yeah.
it basically just wouldn't start.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. First, I kind of just want to see if I've got lights.
Yeah. I think you do. I see the dome light on.
Dome light is on. Headlights.
Headlights on. Nice.
Both of them.
Yep. Running lights at the bottom are on.
Turn signals.
I don't see front turns.
Tail lights are on. No signals. That's okay. All right. So yeah, powered up for the first time in a while. All right, and you say you don't smell anything,
Nope.
right? Just close the door. You're going to do not push on the brake. We can stop the car because I just don't want to put any pressure on those lines and have them start leaking brake fluid everywhere if they break. Yes, just steering, and it is hard to steer because it's heavy and it's not on, and the power steering is not doing it for you. So you might have to wrestle with it a little bit.
Definitely have to wrestle.
Yeah. But go ahead and put it in neutral. You know, it's kind of mushy. Pull, yeah, pull. Nope, I think you went into.
That's
you're in
neutral.
All right. Now you can't see. I'm going to close the hood a little bit. Just so you can see. And then I'm just here just in case you have trouble steering it. Keep it where it is now. Keep it to the left. Go back to the left a little bit. And get away from the trees. Go to the right now. Straight. Stop. Now put it in park mode.
Just now getting fuel.
So it's working.
Yep.
All right, then let's go ahead and it's galloping a little bit. I'm not crazy about that, but it might seat itself. Let's give it some fuel.
Let me give it some more.
Okay.
Okay, give that a shot.
Almost sounds like it doesn't have any spark.
Yeah. It. So try maybe the kill switch.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't really do was file the points. New cap, new rotor, new coil. Everything's hooked up tight.
I mean, I have a spark plug tester. Maybe we can see if it's getting spark.
Yeah. You could also just take it out, lay it up here.
See the spark.
See the spark.
Hold on. Sorry. Go ahead. Zero spark.
All right, that's what I was worried about. Well, let's give it some fuel.
Yeah. You want to try that? I'm gonna have to try that switch again after.
Oh, and then let me know if you're seeing anything on the
Yeah.
light. I guess we don't need to give it fuel. We just check the light, right?
Yeah.
Clear.
Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, hit your switch.
Hit the what?
Hit your.
Kill switch?
Yeah. I'm not getting anything on this. it's getting any spark.
We are having some issue with spark. Not getting any to the plugs. We're going to check the coil, make sure that's a brand new coil, brand new cap, brand new rotor. But we're going to check to see if we've got any spark from the coil, then we'll check it coming out of the distributor. So yeah, knew it wouldn't be easy, but got to check everything. Go ahead and start it up. That would help, wouldn't it? I keep stepping on the fuel. God. There you go. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and turn it over to the right.
Keep going. Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Yeah. Alright, the new HEI distributor is here. It's awfully big. Got a cheap one because basically I spent more money on a new cap, new rotor, new wires, and points than I did for this. So I'm not spending too much more until I can pretty much guarantee that this thing's going to work. So let's see if we can get this in. So I guess I can start taking these wires off. And need to take the coil out. This is where I hate gloves. Alright, so the coil is no longer attached to any wires. Just need to get that sucker off the bracket. And the coil is out. So we've got the coil out, got a little more room. We've got the top dead center marked with the little green tape. Okay. Loosening the bolt that's holding the clamp to the distributor down. Just need to take that sucker all the way out. And I think we're good. And the hose is in the way. But there it is. This is, Jesus. This is the clamp and the bolt that hold the distributor down, because nothing was holding my light down. But let's go ahead and see if yield distributor will come out. That is in there solid. Let's see if we can get some leverage on her. Wow. That really does not want to come out. I mean, like, at all. It's not budging. This sucker has melted in there. Wow, wow, wow. Let's get the vacuum advance hose off, but I may have to let this set. PB blast it because it does not want to move at all. Unless there is a second clamp on there that I don't know about, and I don't think there is. Good God. Ah! Wow. That is amazing. Alright, I guess I'll let it set overnight, see if I can soak it and get it free. Got it loosened up to the point where it will turn. All right, so it's starting to come up. Let me get this rotor off. Never easy. So after some twisting and turning and a little bit of brake clean down in there, came out about 3 or 4 hours later and spun it around a little bit and was finally able to get the distributor out. But man, that was not easy. I would say give it a little bit of brake clean or WD-40, some kind of penetrant. Give it some time and hopefully that will loosen it up. I think there was just a little bit of rust on here, and that's kind of what was, oh yeah, this thing, the gasket shot. But I think there was just a little bit of rust and it was keeping it from coming out. But yeah, just if you're having a stuck distributor, just keep working it. If you can get it to go back and forth. If not, do the penetrant, or even if it is, do the penetrant. I use PB Blaster and I tried brake clean. And 4 hours of setting, about 3.5, 4 hours, and finally came up out. All right, so we can get the new one in. So before I took it out, I made sure I had it at top dead center. The rotor was basically pointing where I've got the green tape, and I took off, and just to doubly make sure, this is the first time I've ever had to do top dead center. To make doubly sure, I also rotated the engine until both of the intake and the exhaust on number 1 were completely up. They had both come up. I watched them go down and come back up, go down, come back up several times. And once both of these were completely up, I also was able to check. We can see that the mark on the harmonic balancer is lined up with the timing marks. So we've got, that is roughly where the rotor should be for a Pontiac. Normally it's at about 11 o'clock. In this case, it's about 1 o'clock. Both of the exhaust and intake are up, so the valves are closed, and the timing mark lined up. So I'm pretty sure I'm at TDC. So I guess I can go ahead and put the new distributor in, and wherever I'm at that point when it goes in, I'm going to make that one number 1, 8, all the way around. One thing to keep in mind with Pontiacs, I actually think I had the last distributor cap hooked up incorrectly. I think I had it going in the clockwise rotation order, but Pontiacs actually rotate counterclockwise. So I'm going to do 1, 8, whatever, 3, 4, 6, 5, 7, 2. But I'm going to do it in that order with the new wires and The other thing I need to do too, now that I've got these out, is regap the spark plugs. With the points, you actually have a smaller gap. With HEI, apparently from the research that I've done, you want to have a larger gap. I think it's 0.4045. And so I definitely need to adjust the gap on all my plugs. And I took those out as well just to make sure when I spun the engine over to match up to get it to TDC, I didn't have any major issues spinning it over. So I took all the plugs out anyway. So yeah, I think I've done everything that I'm supposed to do in order to install. This is the first time I've ever installed a distributor. First time I've ever tried to do top dead center. And so yeah, hopefully I can get this in and everything will work fine. The only thing I'm worried about is running a new wire, because the wire that's coming out from this is a resistance wire, and it's also a very much smaller gauge wire. I want to do a 12 gauge, so I don't really want to use this wire. I think I may run it into the fuse box and see if I can get a tap onto the fuse box for the 12 gauge wire and then run that directly into the distributor. So what I need to do is get this 12 gauge wire in here. Nothing is easy. So it was easier to actually push the wire through here, but I've got it. And what I'm going to do is tap into an existing fuse, and that would be the one that is parallel to the ignition. This fuse supports this tip, so I know that this is for ignition. So what I'm going to do is tap into, I'm going to put a new 20 amp fuse in here and run this line in and join it up in this fuse. What I'm going to use is this tap. This is basically designed to go around the small glass fuse, and then this sticks out. And then what I can do is put my wire in here and plug it in directly on that tap. That way I get 20 amps to that wire, and I'll be able to have ignition only 12 volt constant to the distributor. So I've got the 12 amp connector on my 12 gauge, or the 12 gauge connector on my 12 gauge wire. All right, fuse is in. The post is sticking out. This one is for the electric choke that I'm going to have to hook up to something else. So let's back this cable out into the engine bay so we just have what we need. Here we go. So that's in there, and we should be good to go. So yeah, we've got that wire coming up from here, and it will basically plug into our HEI, and I can cut the rest of this off. So I've got all the spark plugs gapped to 0.45. I've got that side in, just need to do this side over here. Alright, that's it. Of course the lawnmower is going really bad, but kind of wanted to test it out before I have the gasket on there. I've dropped it down in without the gasket, and when they say you want to make sure you've got some play in there, that way it's not resting on it. As you can see, I'm fairly close to my original mark from the last one, so I think we might be okay. Time to drop the distributor in. One of the things I think I'm supposed to do is do a little assembly lube to make sure that these are nice and lubricated. It would help if I took the cap off. To make sure this is nice and lubricated. Probably can't have too much on there. All right, let me get the gasket on now. Hello. There we go. All right, get all this assembly lube off of me. Looks like a bloody crime scene down here. All right. I think I can reach it better from over here. Gotta make sure the rotor's in the right way. All right, I can still turn it. There's play in there. Let's make sure we are down tight. Looks like we are nice and tight. So it's just a matter now of putting that hold down clamp back on, and we should be good to go. All right. Hold down clamp. See if we can get this started. Oh man. There we go. Got a little more room reaching it from the back. All right. '87 hoses in the way. clamp is on. I want to keep it a little mobile so that I can turn it for timing. So it's not tight yet, but I can tighten it up once I'm happy. Ah, bloody mess of the assembly lube. All right. So from where the rotor is pointing, this is going to be my number one. So that's number one. Now I need to look up the firing order. No 8 is next. So my shortest one, I will have that go to 8. Okay, now I just need to hook up this. And my red wire. And hopefully I left myself enough room. This one's going to plug into the battery side. So the tack is on the left, the battery is on the right. Got all the spark plug wires lined up. We're good to go. Getting a little charge on the battery, and it's time to give her another start. Are we okay on that side?
Yep.
I think I can just go straight out.
Should be able to, yeah.
Go a little more. All right. Not that I've complained, but watch it start up right now, and then you're like, okay, that's it, you can go home. You ready? Actually,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
all right, I gotta watch the engine oil light. Hopefully that goes off. I wish I had a gauge, but I don't. If you want to give that a little juice. Here we go.
Got fuel in the filter.
Huh?
I said you got fuel in the filter. You're looking good there.
Sounds like it doesn't have spark again.
Mm-hmm. What it sounds like. Let's test it.
Yeah.
Should be definitely a little stronger than it was with the points.
Could be. Or you want to take off the spark plug?
Yeah, sure.
That feels a little better. I'm just like, you know what I mean, push past it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What'd you do? What'd you do? Okay.
You got it out?
Yep.
All right, let's just...
No spark.
All right. That sounds a little better.
Yeah. Okay, it backfired. Go for it.
Are we getting any fuel?
So, it definitely backfired.
Yeah. Are we getting any spray down here?
It's probably,
It's wet.
yeah, it's because they poured fuel in there.
It's got fuel.
Okay, cool.
And the choke is up now, which probably should be. That sounds a lot better. Unless it's
over.
flooded.
I mean, that's possible, yeah.
The backfiring makes sense.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
Looks like it needs more gas.
yeah, it might. It might have too much gas, too.
That's the problem. Yeah, it's just
Like right
dripping
there.
down in there.
You can hear it.
So we fixed the, like, spark
You know what?
problem.
I have a
that it
feeling
had.
it's got too much gas because this one is
Sopping wet.
just dropping in.
Yeah.
That's been dropping in the whole time.
Oh, really? Just,
Well,
like-
now it's stopped. Well, there's one drip.
Yeah, it's probably flooded. Give it one more just
Yeah.
for the heck of it.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think it's flooded.
I might do that every time. So.
All right, I think I'm going to wrap up the episode with this, even though we didn't get it started. We're kind of at an impasse, wasn't quite sure what to do. We're getting spark to the spark plugs, but it's not starting up. We've got fuel. I mean, I can crank the carburetor and I can see fuel dropping down. We've tried everything. We did everything but ether. Even last ditch effort, tried a little bit of brake clean. Didn't work, which I didn't want to do. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up this episode. I do have a Holly carb that just came in, a 750, and maybe that will solve the problem. Because like I said, we're getting spark, we're just not turning it over. She wants to run, battery was getting a little bit tired, charging it right now. So sorry I didn't get to get it going this time around, but basically did everything I could think of. And Clayton, my friend, did everything he could think of. So we'll try the new carburetor and see if that works. But thank you very much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. I can use all the help I could get here. This is the first time I've done a lot of these things, and it's just not working out. So thanks very much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.